inspired by just my journey through ancestry. 2019, I lost a ring that my grandmother had given me. It was the my most precious possession, and it was a custom ring that had the letter D on it with a diamond in it. I lost it teaching. I think it was kindergarten or something, last period of the day, just running around trying to chase after kids throwing glitter all over the place. And then I looked down, I saw that my ring was missing. And I didn't have time to think about it. I just had to put out some fires, called it a day, sat back in my chair, and I was like, man, I don't know where that ring could have gone. And yeah, I really was in the middle of first year teaching. I was thinking there's too much else on my plate to think about. And then the pandemic hit a few months later. And then I was like, oh man, I had that ring my whole life since I was like 7 years old. That's crazy. It felt like I lost my grandma a second time because that was coming around like the 8-year anniversary of when she passed away. So then I had a residency at Flux Factory where I created this series dedicated to her called Don't Let It Slip Through Your Fingers. And I created a bunch of hand paintings with a ring that was basically like a portal to the memory of the ring and the memory of her. And that was an initial sort of just meditation on my particular heritage through my grandmother, and her loss. Following that, I ended up creating another series called The Blood is Thicker Than the Water That Separated Us at the Lewis Latimer House Museum. And that was a show inspired by a trip that I took with my mom to Grenada for the first time in 10 years. So after my grandma passed away, I didn't go back. Yeah, that had been my first time actually going back and seeing all my relatives who I used to see like every summer growing up. And it was a very bittersweet experience, and it was really nice to be able to reflect on my ancestry a little bit more deeply, but at the same time, like, there's so much more beyond that. Like, where do we come from in Africa? And I'd always wondered that. And I always was like, Mom, where are we coming from in Africa? She's like, we're Caribbean, we're from an all-black country. We're not so concerned about that. Like, we feel whole, we don't have the same plight as like African Americans in a way. And I was like, it's weird because like we had the same history. We were slaves, we brought over similar histories. And I was like, I really want to go to Africa. I want to learn more about just the stomping grounds of our ancestors or relatives. And the only way to find out where you're from, if you're from the Americas, is to take a bunch of tests, really. So that's what I did. I took Ancestry DNA, My Heritage, 23andMe, and African Ancestry DNA. And those other tests gave me particular countries that I came from. It was really good food for thought for my personal journey of reclaiming my lost heritage. And then I went to those countries, and I backpacked across Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, and I learned a lot about my indigenous heritage. Tribal heritage I found out through the African Ancestry DNA test. It told me that I was a Ga, a Dingbe, on my maternal side, on my mother's side, and then a Khan, first generation Canadian American, is how I identified Black. Africa, learning about the Ga Dingbe tribes, learning about the Akan people, helped inform this piece that is the accumulation of what I've learned about my heritage through my trips across Africa back to Grenada. So if you look at the top, you'll see the crest of Grenada, but it's a remix version. It has an African shield. It has symbols that are connected to my Akan heritage because the Ashanti people that are a subsidiary tribe of the Akan umbrella tribe created the Adinkra symbols. They invented them. We also have birds of paradise and some other imagery, as well as a new slogan here: ever conscious of our ancestry we aspire, build and advance as one people. And of course my signature kind of DNA wreath going around it. And yeah, this work is called Final Victory because it started out from a personal place, losing that ring. That was what pushed me out of my comfort zone to think more deeply about my heritage. Really just at the time about my grandmother, to going to Africa and then bringing the journey back to Grenada, and then really from this kind of more informed place honoring my overall heritage and really just standing as a monument to all my ancestors before me, and also hopefully in some way inspiring others to also embark on their own journey of ancestral reclamation. Thank you so much.